I'm Audrey Kurth Cronin. My book, Power to the People, begins in the 19th century, a time when the industrial era was maturing and there was a lot of innovation happening throughout the world. So tinkerers and hobbyists were developing things like the radio and airplanes and high explosives. And all of those things were intended for peaceful purposes. But then the two world wars followed in the 20th century, and those inventions became extremely important to who won and who lost in those wars. I think the era that we're in right now, which is a maturing of the digital age, is very similar to that time. And there are major things happening with respect to how conflict is unfolding. And we have to be aware of those trends and think about them. There are three large aspects. The first one is mobilization. By mobilization, I mean how we collect together as people or motivate each other. Mobilization is very easy because we all carry computers in our pockets. And most of the time that's great because you can meet up with your friends or you can get a weather alert. But the downside of mobilization, of course, is things like the attack in Christchurch, New Zealand, where a single attacker wore a helmet video and he killed 51 people. And then he posted that video on Facebook and it was seen by more than 4,000 people, then copied, and other people followed. It's not a coincidence that we have a larger amount of violence and mass shootings that is occurring because people are watching each other. They're mobilizing each other in certain causes. So mobilization is something that used to be confined to states. The major industrial states of the 20th century, one of their biggest aspects of power was their ability to bring people together, especially on a battlefield. But now you have small groups and individuals who can also mobilize. So the second major trend is power projection. It used to be that you had to have an army to be able to project power beyond your immediate environment if you were an individual. But now we have lots of capabilities that project power. You've got the ability to buy a drone that can carry a camera, but instead of a camera, you can swap out an explosive, heaven forbid. You've got the driverless cars that can be hacked. And you've got facial recognition technology that's very cheap and getting more and more accessible, so anyone can identify targets for killing or attacking. And then the third major trend is systems integration. We have all of these huge number of computerized systems, and human intelligence can't manage them all and can't integrate what they're doing. So we develop autonomy and artificial intelligence. Those two things are wonderful developments because it means that we can build robotics that are very advanced. We can have drone swarms that are controlled by our military. But they're also becoming cheaper and more accessible to individuals and also to small groups. So those three things, it used to be you had to have a professional army in order to be able to mobilize large numbers of people, in order to be able to project power, and in order to be able to integrate all your systems in command and control. That's no longer the case. That's a major change. And if democracies don't pay attention to these trends and adapt to these trends, it's going to be very hard for us to succeed.